Hey everybody, this is Tommy with Outrider USA. Hope you guys are doing great. Here today with the Outrider Coyote with the tri-pin hand controls. At Outrider, it's our mission to build bikes that get you back out there. And the Coyote is our most capable off-road vehicle. It's the most stable, and it's also one of our most adaptive platforms that we have. So the whole idea with the Coyote is to pack the maximum amount of off-road potential and the smallest package possible. It's a lightweight electric ATV, a new kind of ATV that fits in the back of an SUV or a van or smaller trucks. Whereas a normal ATV, of course, you're limited in the places you can access because of the noise and the footprint. The Coyote's made to fit in the back of a van, not require a trailer, and be able to access places that typically you could only go with a traditional gas ATV. So this particular one is a really beautiful green, and it is set up with a narrow track in the rear. And the idea with this is even if somebody has very reduced or little or no hand function, they're able to control it with our special tri-pin hand controls. These hand controls you might see in like a mobility van or something like that, but we've adapted a special kind of control for our vehicles in particular, so that someone that may not have any real hand function at all would be able to use these controls and steer by pushing back and forth, brake by rocking their arm forward, and throttle by rocking their arm backward. This side over here is actually the throttle control on this unit, and so you're going to throttle by rocking back, brake forward, throttle back, and then steer forward and back. So if you can do those three things, you can control a vehicle. You know, your steering is the first thing, your braking, and then your throttle. So these tri-pin controls can be set up so that your throttle is on your right hand, or your throttle would be on your left hand. And also the brakes can be set up to be independent, like this one is. So your front right brake is going to control your front right caliper, and the front left brake on this one is going to control, of course, your front left brake caliper. For someone that has you know, almost all of their control inside their left side, could be set up for single-sided left controls or single-sided right controls with the tri-pin. That is possible. However, that does require that you'll need to apply double the braking force on that one hand. So generally, if somebody's got a little bit of function, you know, a lot of times for quadriplegic riders, one arm might be, one side of their body might be a little better than the other. If you can move your shoulders up and kind of lift your shoulders and do that shrugging motion, then we generally would suggest that you would keep it split and have your left for your left brake and your right for your right brake, so you can apply as much of that power as possible to the brakes rather than putting it on one. It allows you to also apply differential braking when you're going around corners and that sort of thing, give you even more control. But these can be set up in all kinds of ways. We can adjust the height, we can adjust your tilt, depending, you know, if you want to be tilted more forward or more back or right in the middle. That's adjustable. These pins here adjust in and out with some Allen screws that come from the top. Depending, you know, on the width of your wrist, you can get that tuned in just right. Also, this front pin can move forward and back for different riders that have different size hands. You know, distance from your wrist to the center there between your thumb and your index finger. So they're super adjustable. This one has a wrist strap on it, so you can drop your hand in, and then that really makes a big difference for applying your brakes. To the bottom there for transferring in and out. And when it's in position, this is going to be what's used to give stability to a rider's shins and calves and kind of lower leg support. So this pulls loose. You can unspool this as much as you need and then strap those legs in and make sure that you're stable even if you're riding on uneven terrain. Also, our head switches up here on these articulating arms. These are kind of a trade name for these is Noga arms. So there's a release here that you unscrew just partially, and then you can articulate this to different positions. So you can kind of put it where you want it. position in a place where you can get to it and swing your head over to hit that button. What these buttons do, one is for your arm and your kill switch that engages and makes the throttle live or disengages it as a kill switch. And the other one is for your forward and reverse gear. So that one's just a 2-position toggle switch that allows you to go between forward gear and reverse gear. The whole idea with these is that if you got your hand in those controls, you don't have to take your hands out of the controls to either kill power or to switch between forward gear and reverse gear. Also, something that's standard on all the units now, the tri-pin units, is a lap belt. These are from Body Point. Nice lap belt, and then also the chest belt here, so you get a lot of core support. An option for the tri-pins is this Rojo air cushion. You're probably familiar with Rojo, but they make these air bladder cushions that are super comfortable and are going to reduce the chance that you're going to get any kind of pressure sores or anything if you're spending a lot of time in the saddle. It kind of cuts that down to a minimum. Also, something we do specifically for the tri-pin machines now is all of the front brakes are 200mm or 8-inch disc brakes. So they're a good bit larger than the standard 8-inch, or sorry, the standard 7-inch 180mm brakes on all the other units. And that's just, the reason for that is it reduces the amount of force that someone will have to apply on the brakes to get the same amount of braking torque. So those 200mm brakes are standard on the Horizons and the Coyotes now for tri-pin units. Moving around back, of course, carbon belt drive on these for the electric drive is standard on all of our mid-drive systems. So that belt is a super long life belt that you don't have to worry about it stretching like a chain would, and it's super quiet. You don't have to oil it, it's just really low maintenance. With the suspension system on this, it has rear suspension and front suspension for a really plush ride. So it's got an adjustable air valve there, so depending on your weight and how firm of a ride you want, you can reduce or increase pressure to firm up or soften up that ride. And you have about 5 inches of wheel travel in the back, so you can take big bumps and really level out uneven terrain. And up front, we've got independent air suspension. It's an A-arm style suspension like you'd find on a car or an ATV, with a sway bar for maximum lateral stability. And it also has those adjustable air shocks, so you can tune in to get the perfect ride, depending whether you prefer a firmer, sportier ride or a more plush ride. The foot support up here is adjustable as well. It's got 3 positions on the angle, so if your feet naturally are a bit stiffer and you want to keep them more at a 90-degree angle, you can do that. Or if you prefer to have your feet flexed back a little bit more, some folks will have kind of spasms in their legs, and just different angle will help minimize any kind of spasms or anything like that in someone's legs. Also, we've got mounting points here for foot straps. If that is something you want to do, it's not standard. Different folks have different preferences on those, but we do have those mounting points there if you have a foot strap that you want to use, or any kind of foot latch. Up here, we've got these 2 bolts, which can be loosened to full turn with a 6mm wrench, and that is your position for the footrest. So this footrest can come out by about another 10 inches, or in the inwardmost position that it's in now is the most compact position. Also, you can take those 2 bolts, back them out a little bit, and take this whole footrest off and set it right here in the seat pan if you're really wanting to minimize the overall length of this unit. It comes in right at about just a hair under 6 feet if you have the footrest removed. If you got the footrest installed, it's going to be about 6 foot 10 inches minimum with the footrest installed. So depending on the size of the pickup, if you're carrying in a pickup, you can take that footrest off, or a minivan, and you can fit it in the back of the vehicle with no problems with that footrest off. We've gone over most of the kind of general features of the Coyote. Again, we have other videos that have more in-depth technical information about the Coyote, but I do want to give you a chance to just see the machine running and hear it running. This one is set up for 20 miles an hour, but what we've really focused on with this drive unit on the Coyote and the gearing and how we've set it up is to maximize low speed torque and tractability. So when we say tractability, what that means is the ability to go at very low speeds with a lot of control. As you have more top speed, generally you're going to have a trade-off in low speed tractability. And for someone on a Coyote that might be going with other folks that are walking, that low speed tractability is more important. So rather than going for a 25 or a 35 mile an hour top speed, we've traded that top speed a bit for that low speed tractability, so it's more comfortable at walking speed with other folks. With that said, 20 miles an hour is still plenty fast. We want to make sure that if you're out there riding with other bikers, that everybody can ride together and nobody's getting left in the dust. And this will hold 20 miles an hour up just about any hill. It's incredibly powerful. 2200 watts on this drive system, so even for large riders that are carrying heavy loads, it'll be able to maintain well over 15 miles an hour up most any kind of grade. Also, this motor is American made, which is awesome on this mid-drive system. 94% efficient, so it's really incredibly efficient, and it's mated to this German gearbox, so altogether a really high quality drive system. And we've just been really thrilled with it. So that motor, you'll notice that if you're looking for a quieter system, the trailing arm version of the Coyote with the hub motors might be the one that would be the better choice. If you're looking for an all-out performance system, then the mid-drive system, that's going to be the better choice. That motor spins a lot faster, there's a lot more RPM in it, and that's what you hear when we spool up the motor. We personally love the sound of these machines, and you'll hear it. Hopefully it comes through in the mic as close as possible to the real representation, but in person they have a wonderful sound to them. But yeah, if you're looking for a more quiet machine, the hub motor machine may be the one you want to consider. That trailing arm version is also available as a four-wheel drive. We'll have more information coming forward on that. Of course, the four-wheel drive version is going to have 4 motors, so you've got more weight with that. As a mobility device, not as big of a deal, but if it's something that you're looking to load into and out of the back of the vehicle, two-wheel drive with a mid-drive may be a better choice for the weight. It's all personal preference and kind of what you're going for. But a two-wheel drive Coyote can go a lot of places. It's not limited like a two-wheel drive truck. It's actually incredibly capable, even with just a rear-wheel drive option. So let's go ahead and fire this up, and you can kind of see everything that's going on with the unit. The key switch is over here on the left, right next to the charging port. That charges with a normal AC cord. It's got a high-speed charger that's waterproof, that's built in. So key on there. You can see your display come up. This one still has the fresh plastic on it to peel off. So over here, this red switch is going to be the arm and the kill switch. So right now, if someone were to hop on this unit and go ahead and hit the throttle and not realize what they were doing, there's an automatic safety that blinks the miles per hour there and says, hey, it's not going to go anywhere until you hit the safety switch. So that just makes sure that if somebody's messing around with the machine and they don't know what they're doing, or if they forget protocol, or a kid's playing with it, it's not going to go anywhere when you hit that throttle. So you swing your head over and hit this button, and you'll hear the controller fan come up. Now it's alive, and so if you ease back on this throttle, you'll see the rear wheels start to spin. And then, so if you're rolling forward and then you come to a stop, you can hit this switch over here. That's your reverse switch. And now you'll see that the wheels are turning in the opposite direction. So there's your reverse gear. And then you hit the switch again, and you're back in your forward gear. All right, so also on the display up here, You've got 2 buttons. There's all kinds of information here, which it's a very deep hole with this unit. But you can see all kinds of things like how much energy you're using per mile, so you can get an idea of the range that you could expect. On the subject of range, our biggest packs are 6,000 watt hours. So you take your total pack size and divide it by how many watt hours per mile you use, and you get a projection of your range. So on the Coyote with the biggest pack on mixed terrain, you're going to see in excess of 100 miles. With a single pack, you'll see 25. Of course, with 2, you'll see 50, 3, 75, and all 4 packs at 6 kilowatt hours or 6,000 watt hours, you see in excess of 100 miles. Also, you've got your max speed, your average speed, your ride time, distance traveled over the lifetime of the vehicle, battery health, energy used, diagnostic screen. But what's most common that folks will use are these different power levels. So you can toggle here between low power mode, medium power mode, high power mode. So if you're getting on the vehicle for the first time, we always send them in low power mode. That limits your speed and your power. And then as you get used to it, you can turn it up to medium or even high, depending on what you want. But each of these 3 modes is also programmable individually. So if you get it and you're like, oh, I really like the second mode, but I want just a little bit more power, you can adjust that. Or if you like the power but you don't want as much top speed, you can turn that top speed down. This is great too if you're using in a place where there are a number of different users. You can turn the power level down, you can turn the speed level down, and know that you don't have to worry about somebody getting in over their head. So that's a great feature as well. The headlight on this is an option. Very powerful 900 lumen LED headlight. Also, a very common option that isn't on this unit is a rear rack. Back here at cargo rack. If you've seen some of our other machines, you probably noticed that there's something missing here, and that's because a lot of times you'll see that cargo rack. On that cargo rack, you can mount pannier bags and also that 360-degree visibility whip, so you can be seen from all sides. That's a great safety option if you're doing a lot of riding on the road. I want to talk just a little bit about adjustability. You've got these 2 pins right here that pull out, and that allows you 7 or 8 different points of adjustment there for your recline on the seat. That's just going to adjust how much you're laying back in the seat. Generally, riders with tri-pin controls are going to want the seat to be in a more upright position, so that's the way we have this one set up right now. Also, the seat slides forward and back on this seat slider. So if you want to be more forward in your seat, more of your weight over the front wheels, you can do that. Or if you've got longer arms and you want to be further back, you just loosen that bolt, half turn, and you can slide that whole seat back. We also touched briefly earlier on the footrest position. If you prefer to have your feet in a more extended position, you can loosen those 2 up and slide this in or out to get it where you want it. Generally, tire choice on these, we use an all-terrain tire up front. That really helps with how much steering force is required. We don't like to have a super grippy tire up front that's too wide, because that increases the steering force. Airing up those tires and using a tire that is easier pivoting like this is a great choice to minimize steering force. And then the back with these 2-wheel drive bikes, generally we like to do a knobby kind of moto tire like this, that's going to give you great traction in mud and really loose terrain. We can run a much wider tire even still if you're looking to ride on sand and stuff like that. If you are looking to ride on the beach, you can do it with these. Generally, of course, you're going to get the best performance with 4-wheel drive and the widest tire that you can fit. But you can ride them on the beach with 2-wheel drive as well, just depending on, again, what you're looking for. That covers most of it for this unit. As I said, there's other videos about the Coyote. Check those out. The Coyote rear-wheel drive video, there's a lot of information in there, getting into a bit more of the technical details. One of the things that really sets apart these units is that we build them in the United States. And so every machine that we build for a customer is built just for that customer. It's built for you. So we don't have a massive stock of pre-built machines here. We build every machine to order here in the United States. Our parts come from Florida and Wyoming and Georgia and Alabama and North Carolina. and a handful of other places as well. But everything comes together here in Fletcher, North Carolina, where it's welded and powder coated and assembled and also designed. So there's a great deal of care in the whole process. We really want to get to know you as a rider and what you want to do, kind of what you're dreaming of getting out there and doing. And we'll work with you to build a bike that's going to make it possible for you to do that. And with the extended test ride program, it's really great because you don't have to take the gamble of hoping that it's going to work for you without knowing for sure. We can send you a unit that's very similar to the machine that you'd like to build. You can try it out, make sure it works. And if it's a go, then you're ready to rock and roll, and you can get your name in the queue for a build, and then we'll build your machine from scratch for you. You can even pick your color, any color you want. We just love to see what folks come up with. Every bike that comes through is unique. So it's a pleasure to get to build them. Hope this helps. If you guys have any questions about the Coyote with the tri-pin controls, please feel free to leave a comment or send us an email, info@outriderusa.com, and call us. We'd be glad to talk to you. You can get a real person on the phone, 828-654-7555. And again, my name's Tommy, and I thank you guys so much for checking out our videos. Keep an eye out. We'll have more Coyote stuff coming soon. Take care. All right, that concludes the overview section of this video for the Coyote. Next, we're going to go outside and take this thing for a spin so you can get an idea of what it looks like in action. Stay tuned. All right, so to get it into the machine, you can transfer in from either side. The hand control is released with this quick release under the seat. So you can release that and either fold it forward or backwards, depending on what you prefer. I'm going to fold it forward there. Of course, I'm scooting in, but we've transferred folks by grabbing their waist belt or grabbing under their arms or whatever works best for you. Everybody's got their own technique for transferring. So butt usually goes in first, and then you'll work that leg over and work the other leg over and either sit it on the tire temporarily or down in this area between the tire and the footrest, and then lift that other leg over the top and the other leg back up into the footrest. Get yourself sunk back into that seat a little bit better there. Everything positioned, and then whether it's you or someone that's with you, you fold this control back and then lock that quick release down there back into place. So for someone that is having more trouble getting into the brakes, what you can do to make it easier to get into the brakes is loosen that release, tilt this back more, so you're going to get into the brakes earlier. Or if you're having more trouble getting into the throttle, then you move it more forward. It'll make it easier to apply throttle. So if you're having trouble with the brakes, tilt this back more. If you're having trouble with the throttle, tilt it forward more to give you more advantage one way or the other. So I'm just going to put this in a neutral position for now. Just a slight tilt back from horizontal. So right there is about perfect. I'm going to go back down and lock that quick release again. So we're set there. The leg support's going to come up into position, and then I'll pull that strap loose, and you can just unspool that until you reach the very end, and you'll do just a couple wraps around the leg here. Doesn't need to be super tight. Good to go there. Tilt it back to where it feels comfortable, and then with your wrist strap here, just going to loosen that on both sides. Go ahead and get that lap belt where you want it. And that chest belt where you want it. Depending on how tight you need this to be, sometimes folks will just leave that strapped in and kind of work their hand in to position, or you might want to go tighter than that and have it pulled down even more than you got it. So now we're set. I'm gonna ask Jacob to turn the key on for me over on the left side. All right, and then your left head switch here, the red head switch, is gonna be your arm switch. So I've just hit that. And now to apply throttle, you're just gonna rock back on that throttle. And then brakes are forward like this. So throttle, brakes, and steering. All right.
Cool. Let's do it. Let's ride. Alrighty.
All right, so Klessa's on a Coyote with the standard vertical hand controls, and I'm on one with the tri-pins. It's an awesome thing about this modular platform is that no matter what somebody's got going on, everybody can ride together and all rip and have fun together. So it's a beautiful night in Fletcher, and so we're going for a little spin. So cheers.